calcetines, the Spanish word for socks. And good morning, and welcome to another beautiful day here in Chile. Today, I've got a whole lot of stuff to talk about, including an ear test for Moses, but more on that a little bit later. Today, I want to talk about the camera gear that I have. If you've noticed recently, the camera situation has changed. The quality has improved. Hopefully you've noticed that. I've been doing a lot of work trying to get the quality to improve, but I'm still trying to figure out the camera, but let me just explain what I did for a second. But before I talk about my camera gear and all of that nerdy kind of stuff, I can't go another minute without thanking all of you for all of your kind comments after Moses was born. I just read through all of them yesterday. It took me about 7 hours with Moses on my chest. It was a beautiful thing. Over 5,000 comments of congratulations. So thank you guys. It made my day yesterday, and it really makes me want to keep vlogging forever. It's just, you guys are so kind, so thank you guys. But besides all of that, I put up a question in the community on YouTube yesterday, wondering how many times you would like videos. And I think it was something like 70 or 80% of you said once a week. And I know that about 1,000 people got to vote, but if you haven't voted, if you have an opinion as to how many times you'd like a video to come out, leave it in the comments below. The idea isn't necessarily for me to make less videos because we have a baby, although it might have some sort of a factor. But the idea is for me to kind of figure out how often you guys want these videos. Because sometimes it's just me walking around and buying stuff in the market for Christmas gifts. And other times it's going to the mountains and having a ton of fun. Other times it's having my son being born. But I'm wondering how many times you would like a video. I would love to do them every day. I can't do them every day, but I'm more than willing to suggestions and opinions as to what your ideal situation would be. Putting everything aside with the baby and with stuff going on in my life, if it were you and watching my videos, how often would you like to see a video? And maybe some of you are thinking, never again. That's okay, but leave it in the comments below. How often would you like to see a video that has something about my life and going to buy stuff in the market or hanging out with Elise and the baby? How often would you like to see a video from me? I'm so sorry if you don't like me, but we've got some family coming to see the little baby and do the baptism on Sunday. So it's time to get some meat. And this is the best place. We're on Maipu, right across from the market in Linares. Delicious, so good. Can't wait for the asado. Okay, on to the gear review. And I wanted to show all the things that I have because you helped me get all of this stuff. I wouldn't have any of this stuff without you guys. So I thought that I would show you what you have helped me get. And it's because of all of this that I make the videos that I'm making. But this is how I do it. First of all, this is 1 terabyte of storage, 1 terabyte of storage, 1 terabyte of storage, and another terabyte of storage, 4 terabytes of storage, and another 4 terabytes of storage. These are from last year. So this is 4 terabytes of storage from last year. And this is from, I believe, June until now. And this is filled with about 3 terabytes. And then this one hasn't been used yet. So all of my videos I store, all of the footage that I ever take, all of the pictures, the raw pictures and the JPEG pictures are all on here so that I don't lose anything and so that I can do a recap whenever I want to. So that's the storage. I think it's really important to have those hard drives because I like looking back on my videos, but I also like looking back so that I can make new videos. So I think the storage is super, super important. I have this tripod. I bring it everywhere with me so that if I'm in the plaza, if I'm somewhere random, I can put it up in a tree and these things bend everywhere, and then I can throw the camera right up here and talk to you guys. Essential though for a vlogger. Next thing. This is a random piece of information. It's glue. It's sticky glue that I always have with me because something seems to fall apart. So I always try to keep this in my bag with me. Some things to clean the lenses. Lenses always get dirty. I try and clean them every single day so that I can get the best image quality out of the lens. Charger. I'll get to this in just a minute. Filters. You have to have filters in order to make good pictures, but also good video, especially time lapses. So a filter goes on your lens, and there are different grades of filters that you can use in order to dim down the brightness. And yeah, I use them all the time, but the filters are with me in my bag, almost always. This is when I'm in the mountains and if I have to recharge anything. This is a recharge, and it can recharge my cell phone, I think something like 10 times before it's all used up, but it's cheaper than buying your little case for a cell phone to recharge the cell phone. It's cheaper than that, and it charges way better and a lot more times. It can even charge my drone 5 times, which is incredible and extremely useful. So that goes in this case when I'm traveling. And then all of the sound effects I use here. So me talking now, I use an external microphone, but anytime that I'm in the mountains, anytime that you hear sounds in the intro, the outro, anytime that there's a B-roll, I use the sounds that I create from here, that I find maybe next to a fountain in the plaza, that I find just with cars going by, the dogs running, all of that's recorded right on here. So there's that. This is the camera that you guys helped me get. After I broke my Canon GX7 Mark II, I got this one. It's a Sony RX100 Mark V, and it's a great little camera. The only problem that I had with it was 4K is super wobbly, and the 1080 is great, and it does great slow motion, up to 60 frames per second slow-mo, which is amazing. But there's no room for external mics, so these are little things for the microphone to block the wind that comes through. But I used this for the entire season 2. I didn't use a single other camera for season 2. This came with me all over the place. To Ecuador, to Argentina, to everywhere around Chile. This thing was with me and it still works great. I also have 4 or 5 spare batteries for it because it sucks through the spare batteries like none other, especially when I use it in 4K. And this is just a little carrying case for my camera, so I throw it in here to protect it, especially when I am going through some water or going for a long hike, things like that. Keeps it nice and safe. This is an image stabilizer. And basically this comes out here, and with this I put the camera right on here, and then it's super stable. Every time that you see the dogs running, you see it because of this stabilizer, and it looks so good with the stabilizer. And then this I got, well, I got in May, at the end of May of last year, from you guys as well, and then I broke it, and then I got another one. And that other one was from you guys as well. So, I mean, thank you. It's incredible. But this is a DJI Mavic Pro, and I got 3 extra batteries for it because when you go through the mountains and you want to take a lot of video, you need extra batteries. They last about 25 minutes per battery, and it's kind of nice because I have this charger in here too, so that if I run out of those batteries, I can charge them up. So if I'm on a trip for 3 or 4 days, I'm good with this guy here and those batteries. But the other thing that a lot of people don't tell you about is that for a DJI and for other drones, you should have these little guys. These are little filters, but for a drone. So these go right on top of right on top of the lens that the drone has, and they work really well. I love them. So that's the drone setup. Also, these things right here, I use these to tie all of my wires. There are so many cords that are running through everything, so I like to be really neat and organized with all of my camera gear. These right here are amazing. This is a 35 to 100 mil lens. It goes on the camera that you are, well, I'm using it right now, but it goes on there. This is what I use for all of the slow-mo and the introduction and getting the cool bees. But it has a 2.8 aperture, which works out really nice. It's a great lens. The one that you're looking at right now is, well, I'll get to in a second. The last thing though, before I get to the camera that I'm using right now, is right down here. So the bag that I like is this, it's called a douche bag. And there's this guy that I like to watch on YouTube. His name is John Olson, and he makes these. They're really high quality, and I love them because on the top here, you can open it up, and I have all of my stuff stored in here that I need accessible right away. So that's really nice. And then this bag right here is just wide open. So I can just store everything, throw everything in there, compartmentalize it how I want, and works out really nice. I love this bag, even if it's called a douche bag. And the last thing before the camera is the computer. I use Final Cut Pro X to edit all of my videos, and I love the MacBook Pro. I've never had problems with it. Love this thing. It has a terabyte of storage, and it's pretty much maxed out in every way. But it's essential. I use it every single day, and it still works great. I've had it for about 2 years now. But now, onto the camera that I'm shooting you guys with. He's still sleeping. Okay, so I just got this camera last week, and I'm still trying to figure out how to use it and everything, but so far, I love it. So this is a Panasonic GH5, and it shoots super slow motion in 1080p. It goes down to 180 frames per second, which is really more like 120, but it's super, super, super slow motion, and you guys have seen that in the introductions and everything, but I love it for that. And also it shoots in 4K. So 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second shoots perfectly in 4K. And also, most importantly, I can put this external mic on it so you don't hear any wind. And next time I go into the mountains, which is very, very, very soon, you're going to notice a big difference between the wind noise that I used to have in my other camera and the wind noise that I have now. Also, this tripod goes with me everywhere, super lightweight. It's called Me Photo, and it's the road trip series. It's lightweight, but it's also really tall. Also, with this camera though, before I forget, I love that this has a flip screen that comes out like this, and you can touch it, and it goes wherever you want it to focus. The problem with this camera though is that, and you've noticed this before, the autofocus is not very good. So yeah, there's no perfect camera yet, but that's one thing that is highly criticized in this camera. Also on here, I use the 12-35 lens, and it's a 2.8 aperture, which works out really, really nice for me. I love using that thing, and well, let's jump back to this camera, because my phone isn't as great as this amazing camera. So. But I wanted to show you guys how I make these videos for two reasons. One, because like I said earlier, you guys helped me to get all of this stuff. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today on YouTube without you guys and your generous donations. So thank you guys. The second reason though is because, well, there are a lot of people who want to be a YouTuber, and they're wondering, what do you have and what can I do in order to be a YouTuber? And I think that this example right here is a terrible example of what you do in order to be a YouTuber. I didn't start with all of this stuff. I started with the only camera that I had, and everything that I had was already upstairs. I love to take pictures, and then I just tried to transform that into making videos. And I was really blessed because so many people liked the videos that I was making, and here I am today still making videos and upgrading and upgrading and upgrading so that I can bring you the best quality videos that I possibly can. And I can't stress enough just how important it is just to get out there and try making videos. Use your cell phone, use an old camera, whatever it is, and then try putting all the pieces together and editing that video. It's a ton of fun to me. It's my hobby. It's basically the only thing I do besides hang out with Elise and Moses now. And I have so much fun with it, and I hope that you guys enjoy it as well. And again, thank you so much for all of the stuff that I've accumulated. It is all because of you guys and watching these videos, and not only watching, but there's a link right below to donate, and you guys are doing it. So thank you guys so much for helping me improve the vlogs and sharing Chile, and specifically the normal parts, I think the normal parts of Chile, with the world. I just ran into somebody today that lives in Sweden, and he was telling me how great it is that he can show the people in Sweden how amazing Linares is. He grew up here, he's coming back for Christmas to visit, and how cool is that other people in Europe now are understanding this small little town of Linares. And not only this small little town of Linares, but all these small little towns that are around Chile. That's my thing. I love exploring new places and sharing new places with you guys and with other people around the world. And that's the idea. And the question of the day comes from Claudia. And Claudia wants to know if Moses, has 2 last names or 1 last name. And we were really trying to go for the 1 last name because that's just what we're used to. But unfortunately, when I went to do the birth certificate, they wouldn't accept that. So now his last name is Gross, which my grandpa Gross, I'm sure, is loving as he's sitting up in heaven and watching all of this happen. But yeah, he's got 2 last names now. I'm not sure how that's going to work in the US Embassy, but in Chile, perfectly normal. And it's Moses Walter Gross. But enough of me rambling. Go check me out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All of the links are right below. Hope you enjoyed this different style of video, and we'll see you guys next time. But for now, ciao, pescado.